It was supposed to be the happiest time of her life. But for Maya, it was the storm before the storm. At just 17 years old, pregnant, alone, abandoned by her family, kicked out of school, and now left to wander the cold streets in the middle of a torrential downpour. No jacket, no phone, no food, just a plastic bag with her baby's ultrasound and a half-eaten granola bar. She was 6 months pregnant and barely able to carry her own weight. The contractions started earlier that afternoon, but she didn't know what they were. She thought it was just gas or nerves, but it wasn't. And as the sky cracked open with thunder, Maya collapsed in the gutter, blood dripping down her thighs, soaking her skirt, her hands trembling as she tried to crawl toward the nearest bus stop. She cried out, but no one stopped. No one cared. Just another pregnant dropout trying to milk the system, right? Except Maya had done everything right. She had dreams. She had goals. And most of all, she had faith in people. But that faith was about to be tested, because the next person who pulled up beside her wasn't just a stranger. He was the last person she ever expected would care. 6 months earlier, Maya was class president, top of her class, a scholarship candidate for biomedical science, until she made one mistake. She fell in love with Marcus Bell, the school's football captain. Rich, popular, and ruthless. At first, it was magical. Secret study dates, late-night drives, empty promises of forever, until she got pregnant. The moment she told Marcus, his mask dropped. He laughed in her face. "You really thought I'd ruin my life for yours?" Then came the rumors, the lies, the texts from anonymous numbers saying she was a slut, a gold digger, a trap. Even teachers began treating her differently. One day, she was asked to leave class, not for breaking rules, but because her pregnancy made the other students uncomfortable. And when she turned to her parents, they said, "You made your bed, Maya. Now lie in it." So she packed a bag and left, back to that storm. That lonely night, lying on the curb, Maya could feel the life slipping from her body. A coldness crawled up her spine. She didn't know if it was the rain or death. Cars kept passing. One slowed, then sped up again. But then, a black SUV stopped. The window rolled down, and a voice, deep, calm, unfamiliar, asked, "Do you need help?" She couldn't speak, just nodded weakly. The driver stepped out, a tall man, broad shoulders, face partially hidden under a hood. He didn't ask questions. He just scooped her up like she weighed nothing and placed her gently into the back seat. As she drifted in and out of consciousness, Maya caught glimpses of the car's interior. It was immaculate, smelled of leather and cinnamon. Everything about it screamed wealth. She thought maybe it was a dream, until they reached the hospital. He carried her inside, demanded a doctor, then vanished. Maya woke up in a hospital bed. Her baby was safe. She was safe, but the man was gone. No name, no phone number, just a folded envelope beside her bed. Inside was a note. "You were never the mistake. Keep going. J." And $10,000 in cash. That money bought Maya a roof over her head, food for her and the baby, a laptop, and eventually, a path back to school. She enrolled in online classes, worked night shifts at a diner, and raised her daughter, Amira, with more love than most children knew in a lifetime. 3 years later, she graduated top of her online program, with a 4.0 GPA, accepted into medical school with a full scholarship. But she never forgot the stranger, the man who changed everything. Until one day, a news article caught her eye. Tech CEO accused of insider trading, Jason Caldwell under federal investigation. Maya blinked. The face was familiar. It was him, the stranger, the man who saved her life, was now being dragged through the mud as a criminal. But Maya saw something others didn't. She read every line, listened to every interview, watched every press conference. There was something wrong with the narrative. Something didn't add up. And then, she found it. A whistleblower report, buried deep in court filings. The real truth? Jason Caldwell hadn't committed a crime. He had exposed one. The company he left was involved in illegal data harvesting. The CEO he exposed, Marcus Bell's father. Yes, that Marcus. The same boy who abandoned her, whose family turned everyone against her. It was all connected. Marcus's father had framed Jason Caldwell to protect his empire. The stranger who had saved Maya had been destroyed by the same people who once destroyed her. But Maya wasn't a scared girl anymore. She was a woman with purpose, a future doctor, a survivor, a mother, and she had something no one else had: the truth. Maya took everything she knew, everything she had researched, and she crafted a report so detailed, so damning. It got picked up by an investigative journalist within days. The media exploded. Suddenly, the narrative flipped. Jason Caldwell was no longer the villain. He was the whistleblower, the hero, the man who stood alone against a corporate machine. Marcus's father was arrested. Jason was released, and the world took notice. 1 month later, Jason stepped into the same hospital where Maya once lay bleeding. This time, he was walking in to thank her. And when they met again, he was speechless. The young girl he had once found shivering in the rain was now standing tall in a white coat, stethoscope around her neck, and a badge that read, Dr. Maya Lewis, MD, Pediatrics, Residency Year 1. They stood in silence for a moment before Jason finally whispered, I saved your life once, but you just saved mine. Sometimes, the ones the world discards are the very ones destined to rewrite the rules. Maya was once seen as a mistake, a burden, a nobody, but all it took was one stranger, one moment of compassion, to light the fire that changed everything. Because when the world turns its back on you, it only takes one person to remind you of your worth. And when justice finally arrives, it doesn't knock politely, it breaks the door down. But just when Maya thought the storm had passed, a letter arrived at her door. No sender, no stamp, just one line. You've made powerful enemies, Dr. Lewis. Watch your back. Maya stepped out of her apartment into the foggy morning air, her white coat draped over her arm. The sun hadn't even risen yet. She was used to early shifts, but this morning felt different. She clutched the anonymous letter in her bag, rereading it over and over again. Powerful enemies. She had thought it was over, but power doesn't go down without revenge. Not when you've brought a billionaire to his knees. The ER was busier than usual. A suspicious number of overdoses. A car crash victim whose brakes had suddenly failed. A security guard coughing up blood with no clear diagnosis. Jason had warned her once. The higher you rise, the more invisible knives come your way. She didn't believe him then. She did now. Just 1 week after his release, Jason asked to meet. They sat in a quiet corner of a bookstore cafe. He looked thinner, older, haunted. They're not done, he whispered. What we exposed was just the surface. You shook the wrong web, Maya. He slid a flash drive across the table. This is why they want me silenced. And why you're now a target too. Maya opened it later that night. Files, emails, bank accounts. One name appeared over and over again. Bellhaven Group, a private conglomerate run by the Bell family. Marcus's family, the same ones who destroyed Jason. The same ones who silenced Maya years ago. That night, she couldn't sleep. She looked out her window and saw it. A car, parked across the street. No lights, no movement, just watching. She told herself it was nothing. But the next day, her tire was slashed. The day after that, someone broke into her locker at the hospital. Nothing was stolen, but her daughter's picture had been turned face down. Maya knew she had to act. So she made a copy of the files Jason gave her and sent it anonymously to a trusted journalist. But she also made one fatal error. She logged into her hospital email from a public computer, and that's when they traced her. The next day, she received a call from Amira's preschool. Dr. Lewis, we just wanted to confirm you had sent your brother to pick up Amira early. Maya froze. She didn't have a brother. She dropped the phone and ran. Her legs burned. Her heart raced. Every second was eternity. By the time she reached the preschool, Amira was gone. They had taken her. That night, Maya didn't cry. She didn't beg. She didn't pray. She prepared. Because these men, these monsters, had underestimated her once before. And now, Maya called the police. She called Jason. But no one had answers. Not even CCTV. everything wiped. But that night, her phone rang. Unknown number. No voice, just a distorted audio file. A child's voice. Amira. Crying. Mommy, I want to go home. Then silence. And another message. Stop digging, or the next time you hear from her will be in a closed casket. She wasn't just a scared teenager. She was a mother, a doctor, and a woman with nothing left to lose. Using Jason's files and hospital access, Maya started tracing every loose end. She discovered secret accounts, illegal organ trafficking, even names of political sponsors tied to Belhaven Group. One name shocked her more than the rest. Detective Harold Knox, lead investigator on Jason's case, and the man who had cleared Marcus's father. She knew what she had to do. Jason met her in a parking garage. They exchanged a new hard drive with irrefutable evidence. "This is our shot," Jason said. "If anything happens to me, release it." To everyone. Maya nodded. Then Jason looked her dead in the eye. "They took something from you once. Don't let them take her from you." Maya followed Knox, recorded everything. She traced his calls to an abandoned building, an old psychiatric hospital. She knew Amira was there. She also knew it was probably a trap. But mothers don't wait for permission. They move. Maya entered the building alone. Just her, a flashlight, and a wire under her shirt, transmitting everything live to Jason and the journalist. The corridors were dark, smelled of mold and bleach. She followed the faint sound of a lullaby until she reached a locked room. Inside, Amira, sleeping in a cot, unharmed. Maya ran to her, but the door slammed shut behind her. From the shadows, the voice. "You just couldn't stay buried, could you?" It was Marcus, older now, sharper, dressed in a tailored suit, holding a cigarette and a pistol. "You ruined everything, Maya. My father's legacy gone. And now you're going to pay." Maya stood in front of Amira. "Then shoot me, but you'll never silence the truth." Marcus laughed. "No need. We already scrubbed the drives. Your files are gone. Jason's probably dead already." But what Marcus didn't know, Maya never stopped recording. Everything he said was already live, being streamed to thousands. Sirens screamed outside. Doors kicked open. Marcus turned pale. The journalist, backed by police and cybercrime agents, stormed in, guns drawn. Maya held Amira close as they arrested Marcus Bell. This time, there were no favors, no family ties, just handcuffs. Jason survived. The journalist won a Pulitzer. Maya returned to work, but she didn't forget the pain, or the warning, because power always rebuilds. And just when she felt peace, another letter arrived. No return address, no fingerprints, just a single photograph. A man in a lab coat, dead, lying outside her hospital, and scribbled in red ink, "We weren't after the girl. We were after you." To be continued. For more thrilling and intriguing stories, subscribe to Crime Files Uncovered.